All right, guys, ready to get started, and we're going to be using three softwares inside of our lead gen funnel build. First software we're going to need is a landing page builder, where you can actually build your pages. Picture it essentially as a website builder, but much simpler. Second we're going to need is an email marketing software that you can send out emails to your customers, because you can't just use Google or Yahoo or Hotmail or anything like that. You have to have a specific software. And then the third one is just a design software that we can play around in and use it to build our lead magnets and anything else that we need to do. So we're going to pick up those three softwares. So the first one we're going to look at here is ClickPages. This is our landing page builder. There's tons out there. You've probably heard of ClickFunnels, Instapage, Lead Pages, Unbounce, GetResponse. All these are landing page builders, and they all have great features, and I've used them all. And the one that fits my needs and most of the people I work with needs the best is ClickPages. It's really affordable, it's super powerful, it's super fast. Your page load speeds are incredible. The design editor is very powerful and easy to use, and all of those things make it a great choice. So the plan that you're going to need to start is just this $47 plan. That might seem like a lot to you to start out if you've never had one of these softwares before, but I assure you it is well worth the money. It's going to save you a ton of time and a ton of headaches with connecting all the things that you need. So this is what we will be using inside of the project. You can start your free 14-day trial here, give it a shot. If you don't like it, you don't have to use it, but I'm telling you, you are gonna like it. Okay, so that's number one. Second software is going to be ActiveCampaign. ActiveCampaign is our email marketing software. This software allows us to connect directly to ClickPages, so that anytime someone comes through our funnel, they can receive automatic emails from us. If you've never done this before and you've purchased a product and you've wondered, how do they email me so quickly right away? This is how they do it. We can set up automations that as soon as someone comes into our funnel, we send them an email followed up by another email, and it just makes it really simple. And ActiveCampaign is by far the most powerful email marketing software out there. There's GetResponse, like I said, there's all kinds of MailChimp, Aweber, ActiveCampaign. I've used them all, and they all have great features, but this is the easiest to use, and the price point is perfect. If you go into their plans, you're gonna see that it's $15 a month for up to 500 contacts. That's all we need to start. And there's also a 14-day trial, so you can sign up, try it out, but this is a software that I use so much, and it's so valuable, so you're gonna love this, and I don't think you're gonna have any issues with it, okay? And then our last one here is Canva. If you've been anywhere in the online world or doing design at all, you've probably heard of Canva. It started out as just kind of a software to build birthday cards and Christmas cards, and it has evolved into something that is extremely powerful and extremely easy to use, and it's fast and efficient, and I use it every single day. I recommend going in and trying it out. It does have a lifetime free account, and you're gonna see when you're in there, there's certain things you can't do on the free account. I would just go ahead and pick up the pro plan. If you switch it over to monthly, it's $12.99 a month. You have access to everything, and trust me, you're gonna be using it a ton. So these are the three softwares we're gonna use inside of our project, and they're all extremely efficient. I've tested out everything you would possibly ever need to test out, and these are the three that I have chosen for the majority of my tasks. Okay, there's links to download all of them down below this video, and once you pick those up, we are ready to head into our next lesson. So we will see you there. All right, guys, next lesson here, we're going to talk about funnel mapping. Essentially, a funnel map is more of a user flow or a customer journey. It's referred to as a bunch of things, but we want to create a visual for where the customer is going to come from, where they're going to go, how they're going to get nurtured, and then what's going to happen after all this takes place. So this frame right here that's in the black, this is what we are going to be covering inside of this course. This orange frame over here, which is your main offer, this is something that you're going to have to develop on your own. This is a product that you have to have that has a value to it that you can charge for once the customer has received your lead magnet. So if we're providing a free lead magnet, we're doing that in hopes that we get the email address so that we can continue to contact that person to bring them further along in the process so that they'll eventually buy our main offer. So the way this looks for a lot of people is usually it's a free lead magnet or opt-in, and then their offer is some sort of $97 or $200 product that they're trying to get that customer to purchase, whether it's a course or a digital product or a physical product, whatever it is. The lead magnet is the entry point, and then the main offer is what you will sell them on the back end. So that's how this whole process kind of works together. So looking at this funnel map here, which by the way I just did in Canva really quickly, it took me about 2 minutes. I just drag and dropped some different shapes on here and then added some text. Essentially what you're looking at is you're looking at how we're going to get people there, which is called traffic. So traffic is anything like Facebook friends or Facebook groups or Instagram, all the things that are listed on the screen, they're all of your social media. That is an ability or an avenue for you to promote your lead magnet funnel to people so that you can get them inside of the funnel. Okay? And you don't have to do this in a spammy way, and you don't have to make your friends and family hate you by you sending them offers all the time, but just put it out there. Do whatever you can to get your offer out in front of people so that they have the ability to get in there. Because if you don't get it out there, there's no way that anyone's ever going to get in, and there's no way you're ever going to sell anything on the back end. Okay? And then the last option that I put at the bottom here is paid ads. So Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Google pay-per-click ads, all those are options, but I highly recommend starting with this organic kind of traffic that you can get just from your current lists. You might even have an email list too. If you have people on your email list, that's another avenue for new people into your funnel. Okay, so we got to get traffic. So once you have people that can actually find your stuff, then you need to actually build the funnel, which we are going to be doing in the next lessons. So obviously the first page that they're going to land on it's what's called an opt-in page. This is where your offer for your lead magnet's going to be. It's going to be a simple page where it says, get this awesome thing in exchange for your email address, and then you will deliver that to them with ActiveCampaign using your automated email setup. Okay, so once they have given us their email address here, we'll then take them to a simple thank you page that says, thank you for giving me your email address. Your lead magnet is on the way, or you can even put click here to download it. Okay, so that's essentially the only 2 pages we need, and then everything else will be left up to your email. And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna set up your email autoresponder to deliver that lead magnet, and then you're gonna plug some emails in, and you're gonna bring them along in the process. So here's your lead magnet, and then email 2 can be how to do this awesome thing, or you tell a story about how you got from A to B, and then you offer them to click a button to take them to a page that has more information about it. And that's essentially what email marketing is. You can send emails every day, every other day, or you can space it out over the time frame that you'd like, but we will talk more about that in the next lesson. And then lastly, your main offer is what you're trying to get people to, and that is the offer that actually costs money that you're going to be selling to them. So obviously your lead magnet needs to be very parallel in leading them to what the main offer is. Okay, so hopefully all that makes sense. Once again, I built this in Canva, took a couple minutes, but this essentially is a funnel map. These can get really complicated, but I keep them as simple as we possibly can because this is a simple process to start out. And so here's everything you need to know. And in the next lesson, we're going to be talking about how we set up those emails so that they can automatically go out to people. All right, guys, next lesson, we are going to give you a rundown of your ActiveCampaign account. We're going to keep this really basic. I'm going to give you the need to knows. There's some things you can explore, but I want you to know the very important things that you're going to be doing on a daily basis, and then you can play around with everything else on your own. So inside your ActiveCampaign account, this is what your dashboard is going to look like. This is a fresh account, so nothing has been done in here, so there's 0 contacts, there's no lists or anything. So we're going to walk you through the process of how we set up our first automation. So the first thing we need to do is we need to add a list, because this is the list that the contacts who subscribe to your lead magnet are going to get added to. So over here in lists, you're just going to click on lists, and we're going to create a new list, and then we're just going to name this lead gen list 1. For URL, this doesn't really matter, you just have to put something in there. I just recommend putting the URL of the website that your list is coming from. So for us, we'll just put our website, our agency website, and then this list is for new lead magnet customers. You can put whatever you'd like there as well. Okay. So once you've added this list, now you have the list that they will be added to. So when someone opts in to receive your lead magnet, they're actually going to get added to this list here. So your contacts will populate inside this list. You can have as many lists as you want, and you can segment your customers however you'd like. All right, so once we have our list built, now we're going to go over here to automations, and we're actually going to build the email automation that you need to happen when someone subscribes. So now we're going to click Create an Automation. And with ActiveCampaign, all of this is really super simple. You can go and look through all their recipes, they call them, that are just different layouts for different automations, but I usually like to create from scratch so I can do whatever I want with the automation. So I'm just gonna click continue there. So now this is gonna ask you, okay, what do you want this automation to be triggered by? And so what we want to click for this, and for most things that we're going to be doing with email marketing, is when they subscribe to a list. So when they opt into your lead magnet and they receive that lead magnet, they're going to get added to this list that you just created. So we're going to click subscribes to a list and then click continue. And this list is going to be lead gen 1, and then it's just going to run one time. Okay. And then we do not need to segment anything right now. And we're going to click add start. So once we have that, now ActiveCampaign is going to say, what do you want to happen when someone's added to this list? You have 4 different choices. We're just going to start out. We have 4 different choices on the sending options. We're just going to start out with send an email. Okay, it says you do not have any emails to send. You can create an email to get started. So we're going to create an email. We're just going to name this lead magnet delivery. The customer won't see this. All right, and click create. That's not your subject line, by the way. You'll have a chance to choose that. It gives you a bunch of templates to choose from. Once again, we're just going to build from scratch. We're going to start out by just doing text only, and we're going to click OK. You can change who the email is coming from, the name, and then the email. And then this is where you're going to put your email subject line. So whatever your lead magnet is, let's say you're delivering a checklist. So open to access your checklist. All right, you can name the subject line whatever you want, whatever you think is going to best get them to click and open that. Most of the time, if they've opted in for your lead magnet, they're going to click it no matter what. All right, so we're going to click continue. So now, once we're in here, we have just a text-only email, and so I can just start typing in here, thanks for checking out the page. We can start out actually with something more personal. Hey there, thanks for checking out the page. Included in this email is a link to download, and then obviously you would put whatever your lead magnet is called. Okay. Click the link below to download, and you guys can say whatever you want here. So then we put link here. If you have any questions, feel free to respond directly to this email. Thanks again. Okay, so it's as simple as that. Obviously, your link would go to the lead magnet. So then once you've typed that out, you're just going to click next. And then a couple things here. It's going to say, what's your subject? This from? Does this look right? Yes, it looks right. Now it's going to say, please provide a physical mailing address. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go in and add an address, because on every email you send out, it has to have a valid address at the bottom. And then you can leave this stuff off. And to test your email, once you've verified your address, you'll just send a test message to any email that you'd like. I suggest sending it to something that's not the email that you have here. So right now, we're sending from hello@agency.io. I would actually send the test to my personal email. It just seems to work better that way, and nothing gets misconstrued. And then what you can do is open that email and make sure it looks right. And if it looks right, then you can come back here and you can click save and exit. If it doesn't look right, just come back in here and edit your email. And that's all you have to do. And once everything is good to go, you can click save and exit. And once you have saved this, what's going to happen is it's right here. Let's click save again. I think you got to double click the save. Okay, it says this does not have a mailing address either, so if you haven't done that, it's not going to let you send. But essentially what you have done now is you've created your first automation. So here's what it says. It says start this automation when one of these actions takes place. A contact subscribes to lead gen list 1. Here's what's going to happen. We're going to send this email, lead magnet delivery. So it's going to send automatically right away, okay? If you don't want it to send right away, let's say you have a longer funnel, it's not a lead magnet funnel, and you want to wait a little bit. You can come in here to conditions and workflow, and you can wait. So let's say, there's a couple pages you want them to go through before they receive anything. You can wait, let's say you want to wait 10 minutes. And now what's going to happen is when they subscribe to that list, it's going to wait 10 minutes and then it's going to send the email. So you can do whatever you'd like here. All right, so as you go in and add more emails, you're going to just click here. Let's say we're going to wait 1 day, wait for a specified time, 1 day. So we've sent the first one. We're going to wait 24 hours and then we're going to send another one. So we're going to send email number 2. And we're going to add them to lead magnet. Actually, you're going to go in here and you're going to create a new email because you don't want to send the email again. So you would create a new email and then you would save it. But just for the example in this video, just to see what it looks like, now you have contact subscribes to a list. You wait for 10 minutes, you send an email, you wait 1 day, you send email 2. So you can see how this automation is strung together. So if you can write 7 to 10 emails ahead of time, then you can have your email marketing planned out for a couple weeks. And the way that I do it is I usually write 5 to 7 emails a week. I add them into just a bank of emails so that I always have something to pull from when I want to add more emails to the list. All right. So that's a very quick rundown and basic brief overview of your ActiveCampaign and what it looks like to set up an email automation. So in the next lesson, we're going to go through what you should actually be writing in these emails, how to structure them, and then you can add them into ActiveCampaign and your email marketing is ready to go, waiting for someone to opt into your funnel. All right, so we will see you in the next lesson. All right, guys, we are ready to write some emails. So I am over here in my Notion software, and Notion is essentially a productivity software. It replaces word processors and file organizers, about everything you could imagine that you would need to do in your normal day in terms of productivity, I can do inside of Notion. So if you haven't checked it out, I recommend checking it out. I will drop a link down below. It's not a necessity, but it's extremely affordable. I think it's only like $5 a month, and it just does a lot of things. And we'll go over more of this later, but I just wanted to introduce you to this software before we dove in. So essentially what we have in front of you here is what's called an email drip sequence outline. And so in this outline, I'm going to lay out what kind of emails I'm going to be sending and what day they're going to be sent, and then I'll even show you how I kind of structure these emails that I'm going to send to someone who opts into my lead gen funnel. Okay, so we just have to understand the process in terms of like a sequence of days. And so when someone opts in for my lead magnet, they're going to receive an email right away that we put into ActiveCampaign, and that would be on day 0. That's a simple hello and a delivery of the lead magnet. So right here under email 1, this is what we're talking about. So that's that email we wrote in ActiveCampaign that says, thank you for signing up. Here's your lead magnet delivery. You can click here to access it. So that would be day 0. So then what happens next? I don't have a perfect recipe for you. There are so many different ways to write emails and different copywriting frameworks, but I'm just going to show you what works for me and what my style is, and then you can kind of create your own style and base it off of who you are. I always say to anyone I'm working with, the best way to write emails is write the way you talk. So if you're a sarcastic, kind of funny, humorous person, then write your emails that way. If you're more of a stern person and you like to just get your point across, then go that way. All right, I'm somewhere in the middle. I like to educate, but I also like to have a good time. And so mine have a little bit of humor, but at the same time, I'm really just trying to get my point across. Okay, so this day 1 email would just be a personal greeting where you say, the goal is to generate a response. And in email marketing, we lose that sight sometimes, but I want that person to respond. So that first email I send 24 hours after the lead magnet delivery is just going to be something like, hey, I'm Scott, is there anything I can help you with? Or I'm going to ask them a specific question like, what stage are you at in your funnel building process? Or what stage are you at in your web design process? Whatever it is, I'm going to ask them that question and try to get them to respond. Okay, so that's objective number one. Then on day two, when you actually start your email sequence here, basically what you need to think about is you need to have a framework. Okay, and so my framework for writing successful emails is really simple. I use a really good attention-grabbing headline, which is my subject line. Okay, and then I address a pain point or a problem that somebody is having. Then I tell a quick story. I give a results-based solution, and then I invite them to try it. And so that's how I structure, I'd say, at least 60 to 70% of my emails, because that's the way people's brains think of things. And so I'm going to walk you through one of the emails that I would send in my process after I've delivered a lead magnet. So since I'm in the business of building web pages and landing pages and funnels and marketing and all that stuff, I have a lot of clients and a lot of customers who are interested in web design and landing page building. Okay, so my subject line would be something like, can you really become a web designer without any previous experience? That's going to register with somebody right away, because a lot of people don't have a previous experience and they're looking for something that is doable for them. So next, I'm going to address a pain point or a problem that your audience is having. So tired of struggling with complex web design software that requires years of training to master? So now I'm kind of tapping into things that they're struggling with. All right, now I'm going to tell a quick story. All right, well, so was I. After spending a year of trying to learn WordPress and even Wix, I had learned some basics, but always found myself spending hours tinkering with tasks that should have only taken minutes. Design was one thing, but what about connecting email automation or setting up a payment system? It seemed like everything needed a plugin or some sort of add-on that I wasn't familiar with. I just wanted to find something simple yet effective. So now I've told them my quick story, I've given them a background, now I'm going to give them the results-based solution. That's when I stumbled on the magical world of landing page builders. Drag and drop editor, build built-in templates, built-in templates and tons of automations that were easy to connect. Instead of spending weeks or months trying to build a complex website, I was building effective landing pages in a matter of hours. I tried them all: ClickFunnels, Lead Pages, Instapage, Unbounce, GetResponse, the list goes on. Free trial after free trial. Then they all had features I loved, but none of them really completed me until I found Kick Pages. It had everything I wanted and more. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce them to try it out. I'd love to show you some of the pages I built using Kick Pages. So at this point, I know I have a video ready to present to them. And if you like to check it out and you want a quick breakdown of the software, click the link below and then click here. Okay. So then what's the goal of this? The goal of this is to get someone on to the next stage where they're getting more content and more valuable content that I'm presenting. So how do you monetize this? Well, I could advertise my services for landing pages. I could have an affiliate link where when they click to sign up for Kick Pages, then I get a commission back. There's a lot of ways you can do this. But essentially your main goal is to get that person to engage, so which they read the email and then click the link. That's the goal of every email that you send out. All right, so however you want to accomplish that, that's completely up to you. All right. So I've done another example here that I'll leave this underneath the video. I'm not going to read this entire one to you. This is a completely different vertical. You know, this is geared towards families or parents, and I've just given you another example there. And then also down here with these email ideas, I've just given you some ideas of things you can take and put in your email. So how to do something, social proof or a testimonial, like a client win or just a win yourself, or a funny meme. So find a meme that would register with somebody, kind of relate it back to your product and then put it in an email, or you can do like a lesson learned. The one time I found out I was spending way too much time doing XYZ, like something that registers with somebody, okay? So once you kind of have your process and your style, then you just start writing. And a good goal to have in the first, this is the first time you've ever done this, write 2 emails a week. If you can write 2 emails a week, and you can stay 1 week ahead, then you can deliver emails twice a week for as long as you want. And then once you've gotten the hang of it and you have your style, bump it up to 3 and then 4 and then 5 to the point where you're writing 5 to 7 emails a week. And if you're a week ahead, you can get months of email marketing content put in. And then whenever you're ready, you can just put different emails into ActiveCampaign and it can send them out. All right, so that's my extremely quick breakdown of how to structure the emails that you're using and how to add things properly into ActiveCampaign, and more importantly, how to get people to engage in your writing inside of your emails. Okay, So hopefully that was helpful. I know we're going through things quickly, but I just wanted to give you a quick breakdown. So in our next lessons, we are going to get into actually structuring our funnel and building things and seeing it all come together. So we will see you in the next lesson. All right, guys, next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to build our lead magnet, and then I'm also going to make a design of the lead magnet that I'm going to use inside of the funnel where people are going to be opting in. So I'm going to walk you through that whole process. So my lead magnet, once again, since the vertical I operate in is mainly with web design, landing page design, funnel building, I'm going to create a lead magnet that's going to be valuable and relevant to my audience, and I'm going to show them 20 different attention grabbing and well done hero sections. And if you don't know what a hero section is, it's essentially the part of a website or a landing page that's above the fold. It's the first thing that you see when you come onto the landing page. And so these are examples of different hero sections that are on different current and modern websites. Like here's an example from Apple that they use for a hero section. If you go through here, you're going to see a lot of softwares that you know. So this software I'm using right now, once again, this is not a software you need to purchase. This is called InspireFrame, and I'll put the link for it down below. But since I'm operating in a web design space, I'm always trying to find softwares that make my life easier and more efficient. And so what this software allows me to do is it allows me to go in here and I can sort by collection. So I can sort landing pages, e-commerce, wireframes, or just like routes. And so if I select landing pages, now I can come over here to these sections, and let's say I want like a pricing section. I'll click pricing, and it's just going to give me a bunch of different examples of pricing sections. So for this one, since I like to be efficient and I don't like to spend too much time creating lead magnets, as long as they're valuable, I'm going to use this software, and I'm going to take 20 of these examples. I'm going to put them all into one document, and I'm going to use that as my lead magnet. That's going to be valuable to people, but also it's not going to take me a lot of time. So I'm just going to go through here and I'm going to select 20 of these that I really like. And once I'm finished with that, I'm going to download the image, and then we're going to build our design over in Canva. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then I will see you in a second. So I got my 20 hero sections put in here, and now all I need to do is download this actual file, and this is going to save. I can either save it as a PNG or a PDF. It'll probably work better if it's a PDF, just since it's going to be so long. So I would just go in here and I'm going to export. I'm going to download my image. And once this is downloaded, and it is downloaded as a PNG right now, I can download it as a PDF if I'd like. But now that it's downloaded, I can use this as my actual lead magnet. All right, so I have one kind of step left in this process. I'm going to go create the actual hero section, or the opt-in part of our funnel page, and I need a hero image. And a hero image is essentially like over here in this example of the yellow one here. It's this part of the image where it's I have my text on the left with my opt-in below, and then I have my image on the right. And I need to create this kind of image that you see here on the screen. All right, so what I'm gonna go do is I'm gonna select 2 of these that I like, and I'm going to save them as individual images. So I like this one here, it's really clean. So I'm just going to save this as hero image 1. I'm gonna save it to my desktop. And then I'm gonna go find one more that has a little bit of color to it that I really like. I really like this blue one, so I'm gonna save this. Oops, I don't wanna copy that. I want to save it. So I'm gonna save this as hero image 2. All right, so now I essentially have everything that I need in order to set up my lead magnet design. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna hop over into Canva. And now inside of Canva, we're actually going to build our hero image for our opt-in page. All right, so I'm just gonna go up to create a design, and I'm just going to select this Instagram post one. All right, so I'm gonna select Instagram post. It's essentially a square, so it's 1080 by 1080. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my uploads. I'm going to upload that file that I just downloaded. I put on my desktop, both of these. And now it's going to import it in here. I actually already had it in here because I was playing around, but I'll just use these now. So I got this one and I got this one. All right, so now I have these two images. And so now I'm just going to lay these out in a way that looks good, and it'll look good in a hero image. So I have these set up. I'm going to make these a little bit bigger like this. And like, once again, guys, Canva is so easy to use. It just saves you so much time in the end. All right, so I like the way that looks. I'm going to go in here and go to Effects, go down to the bottom to actually right here to Shadows. I'm gonna click a drop shadow on this. So it's gonna automatically add that. And I'm gonna adjust this a little because it's kind of harsh. So I'm gonna go into my transparency and just put it down to like 10. All right, I'm gonna blur it a little bit so it gets a little bit, it doesn't have a sharp edge on it. So I'm at 10 and 7. So I'm just gonna go up here and I'm gonna copy that and then I'm gonna paste this. I'm gonna see if it works. Nope, it doesn't work. So when you copy and paste the style, it doesn't work with shadow. So you gotta actually go back in here and do the same thing. All right, so now I want that drop shadow here. And now I gotta go adjust it to 10 and 7. All right, so I like that. So now all I need to do is I'm gonna add some kind of embellishments to these. I don't know why that one got so much bigger there. Let's make this a little bit bigger here. I don't know why that one got bigger when I added the shadow. Just play around with it a little bit. All right, that looks pretty good right there. So now what I'm gonna do is add some embellishments. So I'm gonna go in here to my elements and I'm gonna type in blob. I'm just gonna choose one of these blobs that I like here. And let's just get like this guy. I'm gonna put this here and I'm gonna send it to the back. Make these a little bit smaller again so the blob can stick out a little bit like that. Now I'm gonna go into my elements again and I'm just gonna get some dots like this right here. I'm gonna flip them so they're vertical. Perfectly vertical, not crooked like that. So flip it until it's right aligned. Put those there, and now I'm gonna color these different color here. Let's see what looks good. Let's get that guy there. Do I want it the same color? Let's see. Yeah, we'll just go with the same color for now. We're gonna send this to the back. All right, so now what we have is we have kind of an attention grabbing hero image here that we can use in our page on our hero section, okay? So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take this, I'm just going to center this, and now let's see here. I don't need my canvas to be this tall, so I'm gonna actually resize my canvas. So since this one here is the height, I need to take away the height and keep the width. So I'm just gonna go and put like 900 as my height. And so we're just going to resize that. And now what I can do is I can make this bigger and fit it to my page so that I don't have a bunch of extra white space on my page. All right, that looks pretty good. So now we have that all set. And so what I can do now is just download this and I'm gonna save it as a PNG with a transparent background. I'm going to download. And now you guys, I have my hero image for our opt-in page that I can add into our funnel. And that's what we are going to be doing next. We're gonna start building our funnel and putting our opt-in page together. So we will see you in the next lesson. All right, guys, next thing we're gonna do is we are going to set up our domain and then we are going to connect our active campaign to our Kick pages. I know we haven't gone over much inside of Kick pages, but it's really, really simple and I'm going to explain the process in detail so that you're not lost at all, okay? So the first place we're gonna start here is the Kick pages help page. And all this is help.kickpages.com. If you go to your Kick pages account and click on help at the top, you will find this database. And the first thing we're gonna do is just type in domain. And so you're going to see some different options in here. And essentially what we wanna do is get our CNAME set up. And so the first one that you see here is the GoDaddy CNAME setup. So GoDaddy is a really popular domain host. And so they break that one down in the instructions here. So I'm just gonna click on that. And inside here, you're going to see a really detailed breakdown of exactly what you need to do in order to get your domain all set up. It walks you through the exact process you need to take, what you need to type in, the address you need to add, and so it's very clear and it's super consistent between domain hosts. And I'm going to show you mine in Google in just a second, and it's pretty much the exact same process. The only thing that I really need to have is this publish.kickpages.com. So I'm going to copy that, and then we're going to hop over into my Google domains. Now over here in my Google domains, I'm just in the DNS section. And so when I click on DNS, it's going to take me to whichever domain I'm in. It's going to take me to those settings, and I need to scroll down and I need to find the custom resource records. And when I find the custom resource records, all I need to do is find that little @ symbol and type www, and then I need to click the drop down and click CNAME, leave 1H as is, and then you just need to paste the publish.kickpages.com into the field there, and then click add. Okay, and so once you do that, you're going to tell Google that anytime someone goes to www.whatever your domain name is, it's going to push them into your Kick Pages section, which that's exactly what you want to do. Okay, so that's as simple as it is. Once you do that, it'll take anywhere from a minute to 48 hours to connect. Most of the time it's anywhere between a minute and an hour. Sometimes I think they say 48 hours just in case some things are happening on the back end, but it's usually pretty quick. Okay, so that's all you need for your domain. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to Kick Pages, and we are going to go to the Manage section of your account, and you're gonna go to the drop down where it says Integrations. Now, once you're in Integrations, you're gonna see that Kick Pages has a bunch of different things you can integrate. The one we're gonna be looking for is obviously Active Campaign. So you're just going to click on Active Campaign, and then you're going to add your new integration here. You can see I have a couple already built into my Kick Pages account already. But what I need to do is I need to add a new account. So whatever you want to name your Active Campaign account, that's what you can do. And then you're just going to need a couple things. You're going to need your Active Campaign API key, and then you're going to need your Active Campaign API URL. And I'm going to show you exactly how to find those, and then we'll pop back over here. Okay. So over in Active Campaign, on the left-hand side, you're going to find Settings all the way down at the bottom. All you got to do is click Settings. And then once your settings pop up, you're gonna go and find the Developer tab right here and just click Developer. And here is exactly what you need. So you need the API URL first. So copy that and then go back over, and be careful because the URL is listed first in Active Campaign, but second in Kick Pages. So copy the URL at the bottom here, and then you're gonna go back over into your Active Campaign and then copy the key. And then once I can get that copied, then I can go back over into Kick Pages. I can enter my key, and all I need to do is click Save, and then that will populate that Active Campaign account. I'm not going to do that right now because that's a different account that I don't want to connect to my Kick Pages right now, but all you have to do is click Save, and then it'll add it to this list over here of active campaign accounts. All right, and the cool thing about this is Kick Pages is one of the only softwares that allows you to add multiple accounts for Active Campaign. So like if I was using ClickFunnels, I could only have one Active Campaign account inside of my ClickFunnels account. Okay, and I know it's the same on a lot of the other softwares. So Kick Pages gives you a lot of flexibility to add multiple accounts. Let's say you're building a funnel for a friend, or you have a client you're working with. You can add their stuff into your own account and everything will work perfectly. Okay, so once you've added those two things, you have your domain and you have your Active Campaign set up, you are pretty much ready to go in terms of building your page and then connecting everything without having to do anything else on the back end in terms of the Active Campaign or your Google, your domain or your GoDaddy or any of those things. So everything is ready to go. All right, so in our last couple sections, we're actually going to be inside of the Kick Pages editor. We're going to build our page, and then we're going to build our thank you page, and then we're going to connect everything together, and you are going to have a live, fully functioning lead gen funnel that is ready for you to start building your list and collecting leads. So we will see you in that next lesson. All right, guys, we are ready to build our opt-in page. We are here inside of Kick Pages, and we have just a blank page in front of us, and this is what your editor is going to look like as you navigate your way through Kick Pages. Now for this video, we are going to build from scratch, but with KickPage's plan, you get all kinds of templates. So when you're inside your builder over here and you click on templates, and let's say we go to opt-in, you're gonna see a bunch of different options that are pre-built for you already that you can just drag and drop. And if you click on them, you can take a look at what they look like. And you have things like this. This is very similar to kind of what we're gonna be building today. We're just gonna have the text on the left and then an image on the right. So these are all ready for you to go, and you don't have to do anything with them besides just change your colors and add your copy, and things are pretty much good to go for you. So I recommend starting here if you've never done anything, but I'm gonna show you how to build from scratch and how easy it can be, okay? So like I said, the way we're gonna structure our page is we are going to have a logo on the top, and then we're gonna have on the left-hand column, we're gonna have our text with our opt-in and a button, and then on the right hand, we're just gonna have the image that we created in Canva. It's gonna be pretty simple, but this is gonna be a really effective opt-in page, all right? So when you're in KickPages, you're gonna be seeing the page and it's gonna say add row. And so your page is broken down into 3 different types of sets. And so the biggest set is a section. So you already have a section that's built. That's the biggest column you can have. Inside that section, you have rows. And then inside of the rows, you have columns. Okay, so it's kind of like an Excel spreadsheet. You have rows that run left and right, columns that run up and down, and so you just organize everything via those columns and rows, okay? So I'm gonna walk through the process here. I'll try to go, as slowly as I can, but keeping time efficient here. And so hopefully by the end of this, you'll have a good understanding of the elements and how everything works together, okay? All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna click add a row, and then you get to choose from all these different options. We're just gonna click one. And in this row, we're gonna add our logo. So I'm gonna click add element, and then I'm gonna make it an image because it's going to be an image file. So when I have the blank image here, all I need to do is just click on the image, and then I'm gonna go to browse image, and I'm gonna find a logo. All right, and so I have a few different pictures in here I can use as a logo, but we're just going to use this Figma one as practice. So when you open this up, it's going to be huge because this actual file is gigantic. All right, the width of it is like 3,000 pixels. So I'm gonna set mine down to 50. Okay, so all I did was go to width and 50. Now I'm not done with that yet. I wanna click on this little optimize button here. And so what this is gonna do is it's gonna say, okay, this image is this big, which is huge. That would cover the whole page and more. What would you like the page to load it as? I want to load it as 50 pixels wide. And what this is going to do is this is what we call optimization. You're going to tell Google and other search results that this page will load faster because the pictures and the images on here are the proper size. This is one of the few softwares available out there that does this for you. So essentially it's optimizing your images inside of here instead of using an external software, okay? So the next thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna get that logo over to the left-hand side. So I'm just gonna click on it. I'm gonna go to alignment and left. I'm gonna put it over here. And now you can see it's too close to the top. So I'm just gonna click on it once again. And then these purple and blue things here, this is margin and this is padding. I'm just gonna drag this down away from the top. And if you wanna see what your margin actually is, so right now I'm at 32 pixels. We'll just set it to 35 so that we can stay on a good number there, okay? So now we have our logo row ready to go. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna hover over it and we're gonna click add new row. And now I want 2 rows because I'm gonna have, or 2 columns. So I'm gonna have text on the left and an image on the right. So I'm gonna click 2. It's gonna pre-populate that. So on this left-hand side, we're going to have a headline, a sub-headline, and then a form with a button. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how to create that. So we're gonna go add new element, headline, and then I'm going to, just for sake of speed here, I'm gonna left align it. So I just clicked on it and click left align. Now I'm gonna click add a new element. Now I'm gonna get sub-headline or a paragraph. Okay, I don't need that much text in there, so I'm just gonna delete some of this just so I can kind of see what it's gonna look like. It's already left aligned, so I'm good there. So the next thing I need is a form fields for someone to enter their email address. But I also want to put a button right next to it. So most softwares you wouldn't be able to do this. But inside of KickPages, you can put what's called a inner row. So I clicked add new element and then inner row, and then I'm going to select 2. And on this left-hand side, I'm going to pick form. And then on the right-hand side, I'm going to pick button. Okay. So now I have my headline, my sub-headline, my form input, and then my button. Obviously things don't look great right now because we need to optimize them, but that side is pretty much good to go. This button is going to be aligned to the left, so I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna click it, I'm gonna go down to button settings, and I'm going to go left align, and so now it pushes it over to the left, and then we'll mess with that in just a second. The right-hand side, all I need is my image that we built in Canva. So I'm gonna click image, and since it's already in my library, I'm gonna go browse image again, and then I'm going to find it here, and now we have the image that we need. Okay, so essentially you have everything on your page that we want for this very simple landing opt-in page. Okay, so now it just comes down to styling. Now we got to style our text, style our form, and our button. So first for my text, I like Open Sans, but I'm going to switch this up to, let's see here, I like Poppins, I like Montserrat. I think Poppins for this one's going to look good, so I'm going to go here. A good headline size is 48, all right? And then I'm going to, I actually have a note on my other screen that has my copy written on it, so I'm just going to type it from there. So I have 20 jaw-dropping sections, hero sections, excuse me. Can't type today. Hero sections to inspire your next landing page. Okay, so that's my title and then my subtitle, and I could probably copy and paste this, but I'll just type it out. Yeah, why don't we copy and paste this one because it's pretty long. So when you copy and paste over in Kick Pages, one of the drawbacks is that it will paste a different style of text. There's no paste and match style option, so you just got to go back in here and pick the text that you want. So I'm going to find Poppins and set that, and then a good sub headline font or size would be 24. That's a little too big for me, so I'm going to go down to 20. I like that better. All right. Now for my form input. All right. So I like to, I'm going to stretch this out because it's too short here. So I'm going to click on edit, and then I'm going to go and find width. I'm just going to put 100% because that's going to push it to the edge of the column. And then for the placeholder, I'm going to put enter email here, or we could put enter your email address. Okay, you can put whatever you'd like in there. You can style it however you want as well. So if we want to, we could put a let's see here, we go custom icon. So if we want to find like an email icon like this, there it is, it's right there in front of me. So font, so if you find the font, you can actually change this now. So if I want to match it to what I'm using in my page, I can go Poppins, and then let's go, I don't need a label, but we can change this as well in case. So now we have everything set to Poppins, so everything is good to go there. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Now we just got to adjust our button. So we're going to click on this, we're going to drop this button library down, we're going to go to button settings, we're going to go 100%. Actually, let's just do 80% for now. So now I just got to make sure that the size of the button is proper. So I'm going to go to padding first. I'm going to go top and bottom. Just going to shrink this down until it's about the same size as my input field here. There we go. Now I'm going to remove the border because you can see down here there's this blue bottom border. I'm going to just go bottom and 0, so that's going to remove that. All right. So that's looking a little bit better. So now I'm going to take my button and I'm going to move it a little bit away from the form so I can have some padding in between. So I'm just going to grab this margin like this and move it like that. All right, that's looking pretty good. Now I don't like the color of that, but we're going to wait to change that until we kind of adjust the page. So now I'm going to go up to this row here and I'm going to move this away from the logo because it's too tight to the logo there. Okay. So that's looking pretty good. So if we look at that, that's a really nice structure for your opt-in page. Now let's give these things a little bit of padding. So let's go into our column here and adjust the margin. I always say padding, but I like to do margin usually better than padding. It just seems to be a little bit more efficient. All right, so that's looking pretty good. Now the only thing I don't like is how close these words are getting to this image. So I'm gonna go into here, into this element, and I'm going to take this time I'm actually going to do padding, and I'm just going to drop this back like that. And so now you have this text isn't so tight to this image. And then you could even do the same thing up here with your headline, but I don't necessarily mind that right there. So I'm just going to go over to my image and give this a little bit of padding this way. All right, so now they're nice nicely spaced apart. Everything is looking pretty good. The only thing we really need to do is focus on our button and then our background color. So for our background color, we're gonna actually go up to page settings. So up here in settings, and then now you can see you have all these different background choices. So if I wanted this pink one, I could just click on it and instantly it would change. I could like try something like this. Okay, I want something that is lighter because I have black text. I'm actually gonna change that to like a navy text, I think, but we're just gonna go through here and I think I'm gonna do something like this, this soft gradient fade that's in this image right here. So I'm gonna go and start with like a purple, and I'm gonna go and make it a little bit lighter like this, or a little bit darker like that. Okay, so that's my background start. I'm going to move it just like that, make it a little bit lighter on the bottom there. Okay, so now I have a nice little gradient fade. So it's a little bit darker purple up here, a little bit lighter purple down here. And if you want to change the way that the gradient goes, you just spin this little dial right here. Okay, I like it to go corner to corner, kind of at a diagonal. All right, the last thing I'm really gonna do here is I'm gonna go into my text and I'm going to change this. I don't love black text, but I do like that dark look. So I'm gonna go with that navy. A little darker than that. So let's go back in here and let's go up into, that one looks pretty good. So for this text here, I'm gonna actually make it like a lighter, oops, didn't wanna switch those. I'm gonna make it a lighter, almost a gray. I'm gonna go into custom, like a lighter black here, like a gray there. All right, that's looking pretty good. All right, so the only thing that I want to do now is I want to add some shadows. All right, so for sure for my button, and then I want to change my button color. We're actually going to match the color of this orange here to the button. And so usually I would have my plugin ready, and I didn't copy my code from Canva, so I'll have to just go in here and try to match it myself. So I'm going to go to background, and we're going to go to the orange setting here. It's not going to be perfect, so don't judge me. Get it about as close as we can here. Needs to be a little more red, I believe. And a little lighter. Oh, they're getting pretty close. There we go. All right, that's about what I want right there. Okay, so then I'm gonna go down into my shadow, and I'm gonna just select one of these pre-built shadows that KickPages has. I like the way that they look. I'm gonna add a little bit of opacity to this. So I'm gonna click on the color and just drag this up a little bit like that. And so I get this nice drop shadow on my button. All right, and I'm gonna do the same thing to my form. I'm just not gonna make it quite as strong there. So I'm gonna go shadow, this shadow, and we're gonna leave that one kind of as is. So now you kind of have this 3D popping out effect for both of these. All right, so now for my button, I'm just gonna change the text to download now. And then I'm going to size that down because it's too big there. So I'm gonna go and go to, oops, we're gonna go to 18 font, I believe. Let's see if that works. Yep, I like that a lot. We're gonna make sure that that font is right. I need Poppins. Okay, so everything is looking pretty spot on. Now, if I was to do this again, I might think about moving this blob up here into the corner just because this color right next to this color sometimes can clash a little bit. So what I might do here is go back in here and I'm gonna give this a little bit of a gradient because I don't want those to be the same exact color. So for this, I'm just going to copy this. I'm gonna put it in the bottom one as well, but then I'm gonna move it a little bit lighter. Nope, a little bit darker. Yep, there we go. And then I'm gonna spin it a little bit so it goes down to the right direction here. Want light to dark. There we go. Not loving that color there though. There we go, that's what I want. And then we're gonna spin it again. Okay, so now it just has a little bit of a different feel. I know you can't even really tell on the screen here, but there's a little bit of a difference there. Okay guys, so now essentially what we need to do, since we have our, we have the page set up the way that we want it to look, so when someone lands there, it looks good, but now we need to make sure that our mobile section is right. So we're gonna click and we're just gonna duplicate this section here. Okay, so that's gonna duplicate everything, and then you're gonna go up to settings for this. We're gonna go down to visibility, and we're gonna go desktop only. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna make this one visibility mobile only, okay? So now you just have the desktop one there. Now we're gonna go over to our mobile and we're gonna make sure that all this looks good. And we can change this however we want now, because if we would have left it the same way it was on the desktop, anything we change on mobile, it would affect the desktop. And now we have a mobile only section and we can change it however we'd like over here on the mobile side. So I'm gonna make this, one thing you have to do to change the text in mobile is click on this pencil, make sure this button right here, this checkbox is not selected. And now I can change the size to whatever I want. All right, that looks good. That one looks good as well. This looks good. I want to put my image up here. All right. Everything is looking pretty good. So let's go into our button here. Button settings. Center align that. And let's see here. I'll leave that there. I'm just gonna do 100% for that. Okay. And all right. Everything, I have margin on here, which I don't want. So I'm gonna go in here and remove the margin. So left margin, I'm just gonna remove that, like, oops, not to -300 to 0. There we go. All right, now it's perfectly center aligned. All right, guys, and that's what it's going to look like on your mobile. I think with this form, I'm not sure if I can edit the width of this. Let's see if I can. Let's go into padding. Top and bottom. Yeah, it's not gonna let me do it in the mobile side. I think you're just kind of set with this kind of width in the mobile side. I would like to make that a little bit wider, but it's really in the end not gonna really matter. Okay, so I just need to change my text size on my button here. So button settings, I'm gonna go to, actually, I just go here, and I need to unlock the text. This is what I need to do right here. The 20. All right, guys. And that is essentially everything that we need here. We'll take the padding for the row here, just move it up a little bit so it's necessarily there. All right, and that is your final design for your opt-in page. So now anytime someone lands here, this is all they'll see. They can just opt in, and I will walk you through the next step of connecting your email and everything else that you need to in the next video. All right, so that is our final design. We'll connect our email, we'll build our thank you page in the next video, and we are off and running with our first lead gen funnel. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next lesson. All right, guys, we are on to our last couple steps here. In this tutorial, we are going to be going through how to set up your thank you page, and then we're going to connect the two pages together, and we're going to form a fully functioning lead gen funnel. So the reason we need a thank you page is to tell our customer, thank you for doing whatever it is you did, and then here's how to get to the next step in order to access that lead magnet that we are delivering. All right, so that's the process here, and we're inside of Kick Pages with another blank document open, and what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go down to our templates, and you'll see once again all these templates pop up. We're gonna go to thank you, and we're actually gonna build this one using a template. We're going to remove some of the stuff in it just because we're gonna keep it so simple, but I wanted to show you how easy this is to build pages using templates and Kick Pages. So as we go on to thank you page, if you click on these, you can see they'll just show you an example of what the thank you page looks like, and if you like it, you just drag it right in and it will populate everything. So I'm just gonna scroll down here. There was a simple one down here I've used before that I really like. And there it was, and it disappeared on me. So I'm just gonna take this one and I'm gonna drag it right in here. I'm gonna say yes. And now what this is gonna do, it's gonna build that entire template right into my document so that I can go in here and edit everything square away. All right, so now I have this in here. And I actually don't even need a lot of the stuff in here. I just wanted to show you kind of the process. If, let's say you're selling a product, you would want a thank you page that's a little more complex than what I'm gonna be doing. So in this thank you page, you have click here to access your purchase, need help to contact support. You can even whitelist your email, and then there's other products they sell as well. So this is an example of a thank you page that kind of takes you on continuing on your journey into the next step. I think a lot of times when you're doing more than just a lead magnet, it's a really good idea to take advantage of the thank you page and present some more information to people. In a lead magnet case, since it's kind of a quick, like, here's what you came for, I give it to you in email, and then we're done, because I know I'm gonna follow up with emails down the road, okay? So what I'm gonna do on this, I like this top design here. I'm just gonna delete these rows that I don't need. So I'm gonna delete these buttons, and then I'm going to delete this text and this opt-in, and then this row here, and then the final row here, and then this last divider, and then I'm good to go. Okay, so sometimes it's tough to get onto that blue row there, and delete. Okay, so now this is all I'm left with here, and now I'm gonna go back up into the sections settings, and I'm gonna delete, because this section actually has a background image. I'm gonna get rid of that. Then I'm just gonna pull this down so it's kind of in the middle of the page there, and that's kind of what I want. So now what I'm gonna do is I'll just swap this out for my logo, and since we've already used the Figma logo, I'll just go in here and grab that. I'll set my width to 50, and remember, if you want to optimize that, click there and drop it to 50, but for now, the page is gonna load so fast anyway, it's probably fine. So now we'll go change this to Poppins and keep everything really consistent with what we're doing. And then I'll switch it over to that navy text that we use, so that this one right here. And then we'll leave that check mark, and then we'll switch this to Poppins again. And we can leave this kind of like that gray font we had on the last one, okay? All right, so that's what we want. That's what we want in our thank you page. That's really all it needs to be. I'm gonna change the wording of this. Please check your email inbox to access your download. Okay, so that's all I need. And now what I'm gonna do is I'll just make the design consistent to our last page. So I'll go over here into page settings, and I'll go, and I have my codes for my purple gradient background copied. So I'm just gonna paste them right there. And then the second one, copy and paste. And then I'm just gonna change my gradient like this. And the reason it looks like this is because my section here still has its opacity on, so I'll just turn these off. So now we have that same purple gradient that we had on our last page. So when people get to the thank you page, this is all it's going to look like. It's as simple as that, and this is all you necessarily need, as long as you're telling them where to go for the next step. Okay, so once we have this set up, we'll just make sure that our mobile's good. That looks perfectly fine. And then we will go back and we will save this. And then we're actually going to publish this. We're gonna publish the thank you page so we can have the link to it, and I'll show you why in a second. So we're gonna publish. Since we're not gonna put this to a custom domain right now, I'm gonna skip and go to a subdomain. But if you did have a custom domain, and you're gonna want to, but for this example, I'm not gonna publish this to a real domain. But for your real domain, you would just put in your domain here. So mine would be Scott Wissing, so www.scottwissing.com. So I'd leave this HTTP the way it is. I'd type in scottwissing.com. And then if I wanted to name it something like thank you, I would put the optional subdirectory here. Okay, but since I'm not going to be doing that, I'll just publish it to the Kick Pages subdomain since they host everything, and I'll just call this thank you, and I'll just say LG for lead gen. And then this will say automatically redirect to this for a publish. Yeah, that's fine. Just leave all that. You don't want to schedule because you want to publish it right now. And now I'm just going to publish it. Okay, so it says your page is currently being published and it will be available shortly. I'm going to say, okay, thank you. So I'm going to click this real quick. And actually, I'm not going to do that because I have my toolbar on, so you can't actually see that. So I'm just going to copy this, put it over my notepad, and then I'm going to delete that period. Okay, so I have my thank you landing page URL saved onto my clipboard or onto my notepads because I'm going to need to use that in a second. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop back over to my landing page. Okay, so I'm just going to go up there, click here, hop back over to my landing page. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up all my buttons and tell it where to go when people submit. So the first thing we're going to do is go to our form. Okay, so go to our form and click the pencil. And then we're just going to go through a couple different settings to make sure everything's set up. First thing is type of input. You want a text field. You want to name your input. So it's email because that's what we're asking for. You don't need to label text. All this other stuff is perfectly fine. You want to make sure validation says email. And then you can close that one down. And the next thing you're gonna go down to is, let's see here. I think that's all we need for that one. Now we're gonna go over to our button settings. We're gonna close that down and we're gonna start at button settings. And we're just gonna make sure all this looks right. You can ignore this right here. So this right here is what you would use if the the button was not submitting a form. So if this button was just gonna take you to another page without submitting a form, you would use this. But since we're going to be submitting a form, we have to use a different section. That's where I'm gonna show you next. So you're gonna go down to Submit Button Settings, and now you're gonna make sure that this Form Submit button is checked. You're gonna click Save in an Integrated Application, and then you're gonna find Active Campaign, and then you're gonna find your Active Campaign. Since I have a couple of them in here, I have to find mine. And then I'm gonna choose the list that I wanna add it to. So I'm gonna find Landing Page Design. I'm gonna put a tag on this, which is 20 JAW, because that's gonna tell me that the people who were added to this landing page design list came from this lead magnet. Because if I have 10 lead magnets out there, and I haven't been really techie and set up like Google Analytics on everything, I'm not gonna know where people are opting in from unless I have a tag on them. So I'm gonna put 20 JAW for them, okay? And then I do wanna save my data in Kick Pages just because it's nice to have everything there as well. And now on this part, we aren't taking first name, we aren't taking last name, we are taking email, and I wanna match it to that email form that I named over here. Okay, so if you had like first, last, and email, you'd wanna make sure this and this were selected, and if you had phone, you'd wanna make sure that that's on as well. But for now, we only have email, okay? So we're gonna close down on those settings, and then finally, we're gonna go to Form Success Settings. So what you wanna do is you wanna make sure this is set to redirect to link, because now what's gonna happen is when they submit the form, all the information is gonna go through, the active campaign is gonna fire, but then they're also gonna be sent on to your thank you page. So we can just leave this at success. When it's submitting, it'll say submitting. And then for the link, we're gonna go and take that link that I copied from the thank you page, and we're just going to enter it into here. You have to make sure that you have HTTPS to start or else it won't work, okay? So everything is set up and good to go now, right? I wanna make sure that my mobile, let's see here, let's see if we have to do that same thing over here on mobile, since we have a different page for mobile. Okay, let's just double check that this is email 1. All right, we're gonna go down. That's all I need for that. And we'll go over to our button. This is what you gotta make sure, guys, because your mobile page is actually a different page than your desktop page since we duplicated it, okay? So we're gonna go to Submit Button Settings. It's a Form Submit button. Save and Integrated Active Campaign. My Active Campaign. Let's go to Landing Page Design. Oops. Landing Page Design. Select Tags. 20 JAW. Okay. Save data in Kick Pages. We want to change our email to email. All right. And then Submit Success. Show message success, submitting, background, subscription success. I don't necessarily need that, but I need to go to, redirect link, success, submitting, and then add that link here once again. Okay, so everything is good to go on our mobile and our desktop. So we are good to go to save this, and then we're gonna publish this. We're gonna publish to subdomain. So we're gonna go 20 hero sections. We'll just call that right now, and we'll publish. Okay guys, so this is saying it's gonna publish and it will be available shortly. So now, as long as we've set everything up correctly and our active campaign automation is firing and we did all of our form submit success or our form submit settings successfully, now you have a live and functioning page that you can share the link with somebody and they can enter their email, and that automatic automation from active campaign is going to fire. They're going to get their lead magnet, and then they're going to have that follow-up sequence of emails, if you've programmed it, just automatically go out to them. Okay, so we gave it a few seconds here. Let's go and just double check. So it's published already, so let's go and visit the URL. So this is what it's going to look like when we land on it. Now if you get to the page and you feel like there's some edits you might need to make, go back and edit it. To me, it's a little high up on the page. I would want to drop this down a little bit, but for now, we're just going to leave it there. But like I said, I just like to have it in the center of the screen when it's called a no scroll kind of page. But you can feel it out for however you'd like to do it. The one thing I did forget is we didn't set our button hover color. So why don't we just go back and do that real quick. So on this right here, this button, we can go into button settings. Actually, it's in background. Go to hover and you can change your button hover settings. So if I want to change this to, let's say, like a dark navy, kind of like I had up top there, and we want to switch that like that. All right, so now what's going to happen is when I save it and preview, when I hover over that button, now it's going to be that darker blue color. Okay, but for now, let's just go over here. All right, let's check that out. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're actually going to test this and make sure that everything is working correctly. Okay, so we're going to enter our email address. So I'm just going to enter one of my email addresses, and I'm going to click download now. It's going to say submitting. It's going to say success. It says thank you. Please check your email inbox to access your download. So hopefully when I go check my email inbox for my download, then everything will be there and I will be able to see that email, and we'll make sure that that is all working. All right, guys, so we are inside of our email here, and the email has been delivered. Everything worked perfectly, and we can see that it's right here, just like we put in an active campaign. So it says, hey there, thanks for checking out the page. You can access your 20 job dropping hero sections, download by clicking the link below. So if there's anything we can help you with, please respond to this email and we'll get back to you ASAP. Thanks again and hope to chat soon. So when they click here to download, it's actually going to take them to the link that I've programmed it to. So when they click this, it's going to take us to that Inspire Frame page where I've built that 20 sections of hero sections into a page. And if they want to download this, they can just right click and save the image, or they can save it as a PDF. So now they've got their lead magnet delivery, and we are all set up to continue to drip emails out to them so that they can receive value from us and they can continue down the funnel onto whatever it is we have to give them or sell them or whatever you would like to do inside of your funnel.